Today's what's known as a drive-by, literally flown down for a 2-hour spotting session, episode 2. For those of you who've never been in one of these, they smell rancid. I haven't been in one of these for about 20 years. That session went really, really well. So I'm going to really soldier on, start orchestrating EP 1. We've spotted EP 2, and no drive-by into London would be complete without lunch at Barafina with a fellow composer and good friend on a pretense of a work meeting. Chopping piano samples for the last few days. I don't know if this library is going to be fit for purpose, to be honest. There's an owl, 2 wasps, and a whining dog. And as you go further up the keyboard, you can hear the morning chorus coming in. Now, in isolation, it doesn't sound too bad, but I imagine when you start hitting chords and stuff, it's going to become cacophonous. I'm going to attempt to answer a question that comes up a lot these days, which is how do you achieve success in, or how do you become successful at, or even how do you deal with success when? Now, if I was to be truly asked, am I successful at my chosen field? I would usually say, well, if it was a point system, I believe I have a modicum of talent, I believe I have really good musical taste, I have really shit theoretical knowledge, and a modicum of luck, which is always very important, has led to me enjoying a modicum of success. So on thinking about this question, I actually looked at a dictionary and to see what the dictionary definition of success is. And it's interesting, because all it says success is achieving a goal or an aim. So I've achieved the aims and goals of a 5-year-old, and lo and behold, I'll never forget the day where it seeped in. I was working on a documentary, and suddenly I realised I was bored.
In fact, I'm often surprised when I meet really successful people at how they're not happy with their lot as you'd expect them to be. But actually, if you think about this, we are hunter-gatherers, so we get to where we want to, and then we want more.
You know, we don't get the food, put it on our table and stick our feet up for the rest of our lives. We want more. So I think this is when we become slightly more nuanced about what we determine to be a success, whether it be an Oscar nomination or an Ivor Novello award, or it might even be an Aston Martin. These what I consider to be symptoms of success are the things that we strive, even if it's just appearing to be really, really busy amongst our peers. So I guess an ongoing ambition of mine and a mark of success is the freedom of choice, the freedom to do what I want and whom I want to do it with. I think that's something I really strive for. But again, it's just a symptom of a form of prosperity, really. So I guess the secret of success is to set some good goals, some meaningful aims that aren't too broad, aren't just, I want to be successful at this, nor are not too detailed or indicative of symptoms of success, like shagging above your attractiveness station. Or indeed, to travel loads by first class, be careful of what you wish for. About 2 years ago, I found myself in one of those terrible kind of professional cul-de-sacs. I had about 8 studios here, which is now next to Spitfire, and assistants, and I was farming out orchestration and copying, you name it. Huge overheads. I was getting here at about 12 o'clock midnight to work through till 7 o'clock in the evening every day whilst my kids grew up and learnt how to eat and walk without their dad being around. So it wasn't going to lead anywhere good, so I had to kind of perform one of those life manoeuvres and reverse out of the cul-de-sac. And as a consequence, I've come up with a bit of a COD theory. People talk about getting the work-life balance right and how life is both yin and yang. I think it's yin, yang and yoga. I see so many people struggling, professional people struggling to get this work-life balance correct. In the process, they're killing themselves. My COD theory is actually based around 3 axes. So if we think about these things as kind of 3 poles, the first for me is survival. Because without that, you can't achieve anything else, because you are born with that inherent within you, and the other stuff comes considerably later. The next pole is nurture, the ability to have children, to care for them, to educate them, and put them out into the world as successful human beings. alongside looking after the people that are close to you, your family, your friends, the people you work with. My third and final pole is to prosper, which by my definition is to create a surplus beyond your own daily needs, which you can spend just on yourself, or indeed use to shelter and feed your young, your children, your family, the people you love, or indeed for the entrepreneurs in us to provide for people who help to contribute towards creating that surplus. Now the thing is, these poles aren't really reliant on each other. In fact, they can often pull in opposite directions. I think many people have proven that you can create a huge surplus but then shuffle off the mortal coil prematurely. Conversely, people thrive and survive for a long time without creating any surplus at all. This is called stealing. Or you can devote a life to nurturing and caring for others, safe in the knowledge that you yourself will be sheltered and fed. So my new goal in achieving success is to aim smack bang in the middle of the triangle that those three poles create. Now my course starts, like all of us, at the very top, where you're healthy and sane, and has veered off course and has gone in various different directions for various different reasons. And I think I'm now at this point. Now, whilst I've taken action, moved away from London, I'm working a lot less as a composer, I have to say that all of this travel probably keeps me off centre at the moment, and that's something that I need to rectify. But moving forward, when opportunities arise, I am now going to really work out where it's going to leave me within this triangle. Hi, Christian Henson from Spitfire Audio here. If you like what we do, hit like, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. But there's plenty of incredibly, what would be regarded to be hugely successful people who work beyond the realms of this triangle. I mean, you only need to look at the life of Whitney Houston to see someone who was completely able to create surplus of unimaginable quantities, of bringing joy to millions of people, supporting a touring family of hundreds of people, but was yet unable to avoid her own tragedy and that of her daughters. What is it?
So this has come from Westlake, California. We had a brief conversation with a lovely gentleman from this company who I believe has seen your vlog and watched you tearing one of their beautiful products apart.
No, that's so embarrassing. Oh no. Jesus. Thanks, Strymon. Promise not to scrape your name off anymore.
And I gave him a list of what our internal fuck box should be.
Wow. Mobius? What's that?
As far as I can understand, it's a lot of kind of modulation-based effects. So kind of a lot more diverse than, say, the Big Sky or the Timeline.
Right.
Which kind of more
I've got one of these, are great as well.
Yeah, they're brilliant. Absolutely. And then Flint, which is kind of like a 50s style reverb comes in. Tremolo.
Wow. And this?
Tremolo. Reverb. And then Alcaster. I think this is a tape echo emulation.
Amazing.
Kind of thing.
How lovely. So big old fat box here in Spitfire. And look at Trump, I mean, he's like so far off to the right. I mean, you say he loves his children, I don't know, objectification and love, Faustian pacts with your children and love, I'm not sure if it's the same thing. Now, if you go around this side, this is where the war heroes are, and then further up, the care workers, all the way up to stay-at-home yoga dads. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you just need to put yourself in the equation. It's not the expectations of your peers, it's not the expectations of your family and your parents, nor indeed the departures, or indeed the expectations of your own understanding of what success is. Ferraris, fame, shagging above your station. Thank you. And yes, I am talking to you from a loo again, but no, I'm no longer producing burine, which I've checked is actually the word for bum urine is burine. And it is actually an element. You can find it next to hummus on the periodic table. No, my leavings are now back to their customary but agonising haggis-sized pucks of the deepest and very darkest red. Have a lovely dinner.